Give me a couple of minutes here as I have to get other stuff set up for the moment. Also send links and shit. You know how it goes. Hey, life back indeed. It's been a little while. In fact, it's been 4 months. Hello, Mr. Oswald, sir. Hello, Violet. I'm gonna assume that my microphone hasn't broken yet. It'd be fine. Look, I've done this now. In my YouTube career, I think I've done this about 4 or 5 times, and every single time I can never be too sure if it's gonna break or not, because it always seems to happen. I fucking hate that. Okay, good. Seems to work. Because one of the weird bugs that I've had with, I don't know if it's OBS, I don't know if it's Wayland, I don't know if it's Pipewire, it could be like 5 different things, but I've noticed that there are times when my audio inputs, for some reason, don't work right. As in, they just come out roboticized, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's like a buffer issue. I don't know if it's bitrate mismatch or not bitrate, frequency mismatch or something. I don't know what it was, but you know, so I had, before the stream, I actually had to reset the OBS like 4 or 5 times to get it to finally cooperate. We're gonna have like 2 sets of cameras running this time, and why will be known shortly, but just getting these two cameras to cooperate with OBS, for whatever reason, it's just extremely fucking picky. And when one of the cameras breaks and isn't showing anything properly, then the only remedy I found is to reset OBS. And I don't know why. And the chat works first time. I'm so proud. Ooh, but the white on the white isn't super. Okay, I'll have to take note of that for next time. What was the OBS issue that you mentioned in Mastodon? Why did I just get a random sound effect? Anyways, the OBS issue with that I mentioned, which for those who are not aware, I do post these days to both Mastodon and Blue Sky. Blue Sky is the same handle. That one song at or is it at that one song .bsky.app, something like that. Oh, it's a chat noise. That's what it was. Anyways, so the issue that I was running into is that I actually have a lot of sounds hooked into the scenes, into my OBS scenes. I have a lot of sounds that play, a lot of them from like certain cues, and I have all of them set to monitor and output, so that I can actually hear back the sounds to make sure it's actually, coming through and that it's not like overloading or whatever. And when I actually record the video, start recording, and I assume it also affects streams. That's louder than usual. Anyway, so what happens when I deal with those sounds that go through the monitor is that when I actually start recording or start streaming, I assume it happens when I start streaming, the sounds just don't play. The sounds do not come through the final video. I can hear them in the monitor, but I cannot hear it in the actual output processed video. And I don't know why that is. And the only remedy that I found to fix that is to set it so that OBS has a monitor device. It can be any monitor device. It could be a monitor device that doesn't even exist. But as long as it has a monitor device set that isn't default, now my monitor and output sounds actually will go through to the video. I don't know why that is. I don't know when this started happening, because I stream very infrequently. But that is something that happens, and I wish I knew why. OBS crashing is a Hood certified classic. No, I ain't doing no Patty for chat background. No way. One time OBS only worked when I used Pipewire plugin for it. For some strange reason, then an update fixed it. So I also... So I remember that it was also happening for capture devices, because I do actually have a capture card, and the audio that would come through the capture card would also be affected by this problem, and I did try both ALSA and Pipewire plugins. Either way, it was the same kind of awful bugginess. Which again, that is the specific issue where I can't fix it until I just turn off and on OBS again. Again, I wish I knew why that was the case. It just is. I'm not exactly in a place to bargain. OBS is not OBS is not a god of its word. All deals are off. So, I've been making a lot of MK4 references lately. That game is that game's fucking stupid. OBS having random issues is just part of the experience. I mean, that's a streaming effect. Actually, that's just the Let's Player's curse. Just manifesting for streamers, too. So I'm not even that surprised. But hey, that's just how it is. OBS have come to bargain. No. Oh, hey, it's the music that actually goes with this. Great. Virtual Racing. I am at least happy that this is working out a little bit better. So, because the last time I streamed, I think I was... The funniest part is I had redone the stream layouts because I just wanted to keep... Yeah, I wanted to have something new when I did this in June. Because I had the old stream layout I had was something that I had since like fucking 2017. This is back in the Mixer era. And then I only kind of mildly changed it, so I did a lot of work for the new layouts, and it was just fucking broken. Almost nothing fucking worked. And yeah. But this time, we actually have things that kind of work okay. Yeah! Oh, wait, no, you're not supposed to see that. Ah! Fuck! That's what I get. Yeah, what is the Let's Player's curse? Are y'all just too young to remember that? The LP curse is something that happens all the time, where whenever you press the record button, either... Basically, almost everything that could possibly go wrong happens as soon as you press record, no matter how much that you try beforehand to prepare yourself. That's like a thing for LPers like all the fucking time. Or maybe I'm the old fuck here because I actually watched some Let's Plays back then. But I guess I'm the fucking weirdo. Which I'm not too surprised by. I thought you were pregnant. It's been more than 9 months. Yeah. So the thing about abusive relationships and toxic family situations, they tend to suck away all of your creative juices. Meaning it becomes very hard to actually commit to doing anything. Because you can't script things without feeling like you just want to strangle someone. Can't sleep. You barely have the time to even get the chance to record. And I'll say the worst thing about this is that I know that I had promised a certain Linux video that I was legitimately working on up through like the end of 2024. But then all manners of shit just hit all the fans all at once. And that just kind of sucked away all of my will to just do anything creative. And it's one of those things I didn't really want to, like, you know, talk about publicly. Like, sure, I ramble about it on my social media, but it's like, social media these days is just for venting your frustrations and barely for actually saying anything positive these days. That's just kind of what happens because I think that's just a part of human psychology. I don't know. But, outside of that, I didn't want to, like, fill up my supporter page with just nothing but moaning and hating everything that was happening. And also, let's just not get started on everything else that's happened this year. We all know what's happened this year. Or what's been happening and what's still happening. Corey in House 2, obviously. that game is just that game. So we'll leave it at that. But, you know, that's just what happened, is that I did not have motivation. I did not have the time to really work on it, despite the fact that I am unemployed, still unemployed, because I have to find employment. Finding employment has been much more of a thing these days. I've had to support my family. And yeah, so all those things combined just meant I couldn't quite do the video stuff. And then when I went back to actually try to finish up the second video in the Linux Thing series, which was something I was working on, DaVinci Resolve did this really funny thing, and this like really cool thing that that's just amazing. It just corrupted the video feed. It just corrupted the video timeline to the point I literally cannot open it and recover it or anything. The project is just dead. I can't open it. Even though all the assets are still there, every time I try to open it, it's just gonna crash. Because I don't deserve nice things, apparently. And it's not just with that project. It happens with basically most of my earlier projects that I made, I think with like DaVinci 16? 15 or 16, I think, is when I really started doing this whole YouTube thing, and that was the version that those earlier projects were made on. So when I try to go back to anything older than when I made in like DaVinci 18 or something, it just doesn't work. Tried all the remedies that were there. I know that's a typical thing to say, but it's like, you know, did whatever I could to try to recover, and it just wouldn't. And it sucked because that video was literally halfway done. To be fair, a lot of other things have changed, so I'm actually kind of glad that I didn't actually go through with that decision of releasing that video then. Because so many things have actually gone out of date since then, so if I actually made that video now, it would be horrifically just inaccurate. Like, for example, Steam Play is not something you have to enable by default anymore. Or, it is not something that you have to go out of your way to enable for all games. It's just enabled out of the box now. So that kind of stuff, that doesn't apply anymore. And actually, it was one of the main ones, but you know, it was also just one of those things where I worked on it for so long that I kind of started just, that was a really short loop, Jesus Christ. I just got really unhappy with the quality that I was just like, it was just better just to scrap it. If I'm gonna do this again, I'm just gonna do it, maybe not the script from scratch, but I'm just gonna redo most of it because I guess I just like cosplaying or role playing as George Lucas. Sure. Also, isn't venting what friends are for? Fair, but also my personality, the way that I am, is I like to keep a lot of things bottled, and I know that is a horrible fucking thing to do. Now, just to kind of make things clear, it's like I have been going to therapy. I've been doing weekly therapy for about a year now, and it's actually been really helpful. So it's not like it's been all completely bottled. So at least I have that. But I feel very uncomfortable dragging my friends into my own personal problems like that. Especially when there's not really much that they can personally do to help. So that's just kind of what it ended up turning into. So I don't know. Some people are probably more open about their problems. I'm not. So someone mentioned something about Kden Live. I did use that for a little bit, but it's like, all of my processes and everything has been in Resolve. So it's the Adobe problem, kind of, but for DaVinci Resolve particularly. And it's one of those things where I like the software a lot. I just wish that those old timelines didn't break so easily. I'm gonna hope and pray that the timelines nowadays don't break that easily, for like newer versions. But I think what really this is telling me is don't do major upgrades when you're working on a project that you need to get done. That's really the moral of the story. The way you edit speaks, this takes months of work. Yes. Yes, they do. And honestly, I kind of hate that about myself sometimes, is that is my preference, is I like to take my time. I like to think about the quality of things, as fucking conceited as that shit sounds. But I do genuinely care a lot about the things that I do, so I don't like rushing things down in a week. I like to take my time, even if that does take a month or 2, or 3, or 5. Usually, though, 2 or 3 months is like the limit that I'd rather have people waiting, ideally. But that's just what ends up happening sometimes. The forces of chaos do that to you sometimes. But yeah, I've used Kdenlive before. It's not to my liking, but I was gonna call it an emulator. I was going to call it an emulator. But Kdenlive is an editor that I have used before, and I don't mind it. It's just I like Resolve more. It's just kind of how it is. So what I've really learned is that moving forward, when I am doing major projects, don't upgrade major versions. And also keep more backups. That's also been a thing. I do keep backups occasionally for projects, and I keep the finish timeline backups, but those didn't help. It's about time you spam control. I do. I think you mean control Shift S to save as. But also, Resolve has a really good autosave, honestly. So even if it crashes, I only lose 2 seconds of work at most. So it's not been that bad. I mean, in fact, I have technically... Actually, where is that board? It's another dock because... Raisins. I mean, I have actually edited other videos before. Or, I have edited other videos recently, but they're like the really silly ones. And I don't know if it's ever gonna happen, but... You know, I may as well also just show one of these things I've made, just... if it works.
What?
Yeah, that took... Actually, it only took a day. If I ever... I also don't think the concept of raids... No, I think they do apply on YouTube, but I'm not in exactly that position to be getting raids, I guess. But hey, it is nice to over prepare, I guess. Even if that means it takes a long time to do things. But I did those I did do, you know, a couple of edits for stream assets recently. So it's like it still works pretty well. DaVinci still works pretty well, all things considered. It's just backwards compatibility. It's kind of fucking. I don't know how else to explain it. That's not NASCAR. That's Daytona, USA, you fucking plebeian. Oh my god, have you never heard of Daytona, USA? Oh, wait. I am the idiot that likes old-ass Sega arcade games. I forgot. I always have to keep reminding myself that I am the weird one. But yes, that is Daytona, USA stuff that I rotoscoped for that bit specifically. And then the other assets I took from a skit video that I did which was when I first started the not Patreon page, the Ko-Fi. So it's silly, it's stupid. But hey, if raids ever happen, sure. I have another one too, just in case. But yeah. So it shows I still love doing the whole editing thing. It's just I had to find the real time to actually commit to doing this stuff. And I mean, to be fair, I have actually been working on, I think at this point now, it's like, what is it, the third or the fourth script now that I've done for an idea that I've had. And this is one that I've actually recently finished the first draft of, doing the annotations and stuff now. It is a lot longer than I anticipated that it was going to be, and I am very scared of what that possibly means, but at the same time, I think it's something that might be at least entertaining. It is something entertaining, and it's something I also would like to talk about, and honestly, it will be kind of relevant given the stuff that's going to happen later. But yeah, I have been making scripts that are kind of like picked up and dropped for ideas that I wanted to do, mostly on the quicker side, to try to like get myself back into the flow of actually making videos again, because I do want to do that really badly. It's just that shit. You know, things have been happening the past couple months, so I would get the motivation, some shit happens, gotta like drop everything or, you know, whatever, and then after things have cooled down, then I, you know, keep going back into it, and then, you know, it's calmed down a little bit nowadays, but, you know, external factors could still play a part in things, but it is at the point now, I'm very close to the point where I can actually start doing the filming process for a new video, and I'm kind of looking forward to that. I really am. And I think it'll let me get a little bit more experimental with the stuff, with the way that I've done things. Mostly being in front of a camera more. That's going to be interesting. And also just really interesting stuff that I want to talk about too. That make videos about. I don't know if any of you guys noticed, but there's actually some B-roll, not B-roll, I actually have a Mr. setup going on in the background with that old CRT. Also playing another old-ass Sega arcade game, in this case, Sega Rally, which I suck at. But the Mr. is a very interesting thing, and that is something I've been dying to make a video about, talking about my experiences with that, because I did get that partially for dev work. In this case, dev work meaning because of my light gun endeavors with the project that I've been maintaining. I actually got the Mr. so I can add Mr. support for that light gun project. But yeah, I've just used it, you know, since I still have it, you know, just using it for other things. And honestly, it is cool. The Mr. is cool as shit. But man, it has a lot of just issues. Now, there are things coming out for the Mr. soon that I think could change my opinion on that. A little bit at least. But yeah, that's going to be very interesting to talk about. Now, it is far away, I just realized, because the camera space is, it's not super big. So, and it's also blown out from the, you know, overly, I guess not contrast. It's just blown out. But, you know, that's just the in this case, that's just what happens when you're dealing with CRTs. While also trying to make sure that the foreground is actually still in a good condition. Why does that music... How did I deal with the quirks? I guess that's what you'll have to find out. yeah, that's a lot of stuff that could go into when they make that video in 2027. Who knows? But it's interesting. It's a very interesting project. I'm still not sure if it's something if that ecosystem is still something I could recommend to everyone. The price is starting to come down, which I appreciate, but I also had some issues with the model that I got that I actually had to fix myself. So I've heard that those issues have been smoothed out, but you know, still not the best first impression. That's how it is, really dealing with a fan base. When all you know about is like a fan base that constantly simps for a specific platform. Maybe simps a little bit of hardware, but you know, they're obviously focused on that platform. They want to raise it up and they want to get, you know, more people to use it to join their ecosystem so that they can be part of the cool kids club. And so they kind of brush away some of the issues. Oh wait, I'm just describing the Linux community, aren't I? Huh. Filming CRTs is not the funnest thing ever, especially with phones. And when your entire fleet of camera electronics are all phones, old phones especially, it's not that easy. Saddest part is I do have a DSLR. It's great for photos. It does not have very good video capability. It only goes up to 1080p at 30 FPS. I can only get 60 FPS at 720p, but that shit's gonna get blurry real fast since my canvas size is 1080p. And then, if I want to blow up the image even more to do like cutting like close-ups or whatever, yeah, that just looking through Vaseline there. Even if it looks genuinely good, I have found ways to work around the problems with the phones and make it, a little bit more of a powerful solution. But yeah, that's the kind of stuff that happens when you're working with what you got. That's the story of every person's life, especially who's starting with video production, is you work with what you got. I'm gonna find some use for that DSLR eventually, but it will not be being used for my primary, or maybe not even most of my B-roll. I'll probably just use it mostly for stills. But yeah, that's just how it do be. Aren't recent phones remedy for that? They're equally good with camera quality. Yes, they are. V60 isn't even new, and also LG's dead as a phone maker. The camera died. Great. Well, a camera died. Please tell me. It should be fine. Oh, thank God, it's so fine. It's not the face cam, it's a different camera. Don't worry about it. Yes, so newer phones, especially these days, if you can get one that's like a Samsung, an LG, a late LG, or any iPhone, especially Samsungs, those fuckers do not hold their sale value for very long at all, and you can find them for stupid cheap. And that's how you actually can get pretty good cameras. After that, you use things like screen copy on PC if you want to use it for remotely controlling, or also being able to just directly use the camera that way. And it works very well. It's very nice to have. And obviously most phones these days have USB-C, so it kind of integrates better into the setup than an actual DSLR, since I think you would have to pay for like a pretty expensive mirrorless or something to get camera bodies that have not mini USB. Because the Canon that I have, that uses micro USB. It doesn't even charge through that. It's just for basic data transfer. Mini USB is still better than micro USB, but that's not USB-C. You found even... Oh, the delay is fucking me up. I found even Z Flips for cheap, which blows my mind. Z Flips. Right. Oh, right. I'm really sad about the fact that, you know, I had a Razer Flip. The Razer 5G. It was a really sweet kind of phone. It wasn't very fast. Didn't have a good camera, but it was small, and I could actually put it in a pocket without worrying about too much. And then the screen started just spazzing out and trying to give me seizures, and I was like, so, can't actually see it. You can barely see it in frame, but that's where that phone's sitting now. It's just on a desk mount as a somewhat of an overhead camera. I have gotten some use out of it for camera stuff, but yeah, it's dead. I hope foldables get better about that soon, but it's going to be kind of one of those things where, you know, I could get like a BlackBerry or something from fucking, what, 2013, 14? And save for like connectivity issues or the OS being out of date, those things will still be physically intact. Might have to replace the battery, but back then, batteries could actually be replaced by humans. So, there's that. I had the 2023 Razer Plus, but the inner display was cooked in a month. That's fucking awful. Also, I just noticed the, are we the cool guys club? Maybe. But Linux people are dorks, so, you know, I don't know if it's cool kids as much as it is nerds, but that is, you know, you could be cool. I think we're cool. Damn, was Razer that bad of a phone company? Asking for a friend. Motorola, first off, but the Razer phones have been on and off in terms of durability, and that's kind of an issue. I appreciate that they're stock Android devices. I don't like how they're focusing on AI, kind of like every other company is doing. I like the size of the foldables, and I personally prefer flip phones over fold phones like that. Oh no. So, anyways, as I was saying, I like I liked the flip phone form factor just because of the fact that it is something that you can fit in a pocket. So it's nice and thin and small when you want to put it in your pocket away, but it can be a normal size phone when you take it out. But the screen durability leaves a lot to be desired, depending on the phone, weather conditions, the phase of the moon, what day it is. If fucking Satya Nadella something, I don't know. No, Phil Spencer. If Phil Spencer fires someone that day, that could be cause for your phone dying. But I know other people who have like the foldable folds, so the wide tablet style form factors. I know that there are people who use those, and it's like they're interesting, but they're just not my thing. I don't want to use my phones as a media consumption device, because that is how you get lost into your phone and get lost into doom scrolling and all this other bullshit that's associated with modern phones these days. Phone addiction is a real thing, and that is something that I'm just not a fan of. So I intentionally want a device that makes that kind of thing a little bit harder. Not quite going to the point of getting like a diet smartphone device with like a e-ink display, although that is rad as hell, and not going to the point of getting a light phone or something. But I don't want to use my phones for getting addicted to them anymore. That's what I have game devices for. I'm a gamer. Capital G. Gaming. We like games. That's why we listen to games. Even Battletoads, which is Okay. But I mean, I think that's enough of that kind of bullshit. I mean, we obviously came here for one thing and one thing only. And I mean, I'm super happy to announce yes! I put that thing, I put that game in the description for a reason, so fuck it. I've also never played this game before. Oh, the controls are fucked up because it's a... Oh, no. I don't even know what this game is. Yeah, I got you guys. I got you. As Ice Cube says, I got you. Also, wow, it's a long ass time. Corey in the house, the best anime. Yeah. Greatest video game ever made, baby. And that's what we come here for. We come here for quality entertainment. You know what we're talking about, brother. Hey, Dad, did you hear my presidential bobblehead won first prize in the Wacky Wow Toys contest? I knew you could do it, son. And they're sending me a boatload of them so I can sell them to the tourists. Hello, money. Keep your toys out of everyone's way. Remember, Samantha's the boss. Don't worry, Dad. Corey Baxter, American businessman, has it all under control. That's what I'm afraid of. Oh, great. It's Sophie. Where? No one's... Oh, okay. You just popped in out of the corner. It's the Arrow license games. This is one of the things that God would judge us about in Armageddon. Oh, I thought they would judge us because the actual God is Shao Kahn, because he wins Armageddon, right? Oh, wait. That's another Mortal Kombat reference. Corey, do you want to see my new toy? It's a high-tech cell phone. High-tech cell phone? The best part was all that I had to trade for it was a box of the silly bobbleheads. Silly bobbleheads? My bobbleheads? You traded them? I told you I traded them for my new cell phone. Try to keep up, Corey. Sheesh. Also, laugh tracks. They're in the game. Also, the volume is quiet because we have to pump this shit up. This is gaming. This is true gaming right here. Well, since the bobbleheads were yours, you can have the stupid cell phone. It doesn't have any games on it anyway. I don't want a cell phone. I want my bobbleheads. Sheesh, Corey, why don't you go check in Daddy's room? Sheesh. Did she say that a lot in the show? I'm not even that familiar with Disney Entertainment at the time. You mean the Oval Office? Sure, unless you're chicken. Chicken? Me? I'm so brave, I don't even eat chicken.
What exactly is this strange object
that is speaking to me?
That was the wrong button, but sure. Honestly, what is this? I'll show her. I'm not afraid of anything. Except maybe Samantha. And horses. Sure about that? Horses? Horses? April Fool's was 6 months ago. Oh shit. Tremble, Silk Song, and meet your mighty opponent. You gotta keep quiet about fighting those bobbleheads around the White House. Dad would kill me if he found out. I don't need to use the plus control pad if I'm going to get around the White House. And they have to have a ghost to explain the concept of moving your damn legs. I bet I could find hidden items by inspecting areas around me, like under the couch cushions. Okay. Oh, they want me to... Oh, shit. I actually have to touch the screen, don't I? Boop. Oh, it's like a fucking adventure game? Oh, man. King's Quest. Eat your heart out. I found my President Martinez bobblehead. The fuck is this shit, man? Okay, so basically I have to just walk around until the prompt tells me to stop and look at a thing. And, oh wait, no, that was a prompt. You're under orders to not enter the rest of the White House today. For what? Rats! Rats? Yeah, rats in the White House. Big ones. I was trying to catch them. Well, get back to work. I can't have rats interfering with the meeting between President Martinez and Ambassador Peru. And remember, when you approach another person you wish to speak with, press the A button or tap the touch screen when the action icon appears. So, are Nintendo buttons and touch screens just like a known entity in this universe? I need you to get it, Corey, I need you to get rid of the nuclear Nikishkas. Nuclear who? The little behavior pastries that burst when you eat them? Yeah, those destructive delicacies. Not to worry, Dad. I'm your man. I hate the fact that this kid... Why do I look like this kid even slightly? Except I don't have the smug look down. Good. Just approach the fridge and press the A button or tap the touch screen when you see the action icon appear. Okay. Touchscreen action. Riveting. Take Nikishkas. Nah, I just need to find some lemon sauce so these will pop. Anyway, I head upstairs. I thought we were looking for shit. Also, I could have sworn that there was a pop-up. Oh, wait, no, that's just the couch. The couch has that big of a hitbox. Princess Zelda, eat your heart out. Thanks for taking the Nikishkas. Thanks again for taking the Nikishkas. Oh, again, what's with the obnoxious hitboxes? You could just talk to them from across the... I mean, actually, that's kind of ingenious technology. No, I didn't actually mean to go in there this time. Go upstairs with your fucking stupid-ass walk cycle. Also, my dead ghost is standing there. Again, is this just a thing that you see? Is this kid high? Oh man, I can't get caught by those agents. Better try sneaking by. Water drive! Fuck. But also, I don't think that guy ever turns around, does he? Huh? It's just there to block you. It's just there to block the way. It's not stealth. It's a roadblock. What? Imagine if this was a hitbox. Imagine this is a fighting game with a hitbox. It's called a bad video game. Wait a second, you actually... Sorry, I gotta be like... Corey, I would appreciate it if you stop looking at me like that. Please stop. I mean, the fact that the characters are pre-rendered... The world is pre-rendered, but the characters are 3D. That's just Sonic Rush. That's like a lot of games on the DS. Also, I would say, oh no, later Tales games on the DS, they use character sprites, but the world was 3D. But they don't have the budget of Namco Tales Studio. Obviously, we can't expect quality. Okay, I can't go downstairs? What do you want me to do? Oh. Okay, I'm pressing the X. Oh. Oh, you have to follow the prompts. But I didn't have to do that before. It just let me waltz around all fucking fiddly-doo. And now it prompts for that. What are video games? I know exactly what, but that's inconsistent. This is worse scripting than a Call of Duty game. It's like, okay, press the X button, and you gotta fucking Sly Cooper your way through this shit. So he doesn't. Oh, so now he just walks off. Okay, cool. But before, I wouldn't be surprised if it's not actually based on the sneaking, but only if you get to that certain point while you're sneaking. It doesn't actually check for anything else except when you get to that spot. Riveting AI. Okay, so I guess now that he went down, okay, cool. Now he's just, is he patrolling? Oh, okay, not. Oh, actually I have to inspect more adventure game bullshit. Sweet, with this lemon sauce and the kishkas, we'll be able to stop. I mean, sure, I guess lemons can have that effect, but also just pelt them with the lemon, whatever. Also, the kishkas are considered gadgets. What the fuck is this? Ah! Access it using the touchscreen. There you go. Cool. And now we just have an unlimited supply of throwable pastries. Laced with lemon. Huh? Hope you don't fuck up your eyesight, Corey. I'm gonna keep doing that real. I just press A to jump to annoy someone. Sly! You have to jump and press the circle button to do the thing. Jump and press the circle button to open the fridge, Sly. I can now do a Bentley to save my life now. Dang, the tour's right outside the door. I'm keeping the kishkas myself in rooms without guards. I don't want to make a mess in here. Bitch, you fucking sold those things. And I am not a god of my word, little child. Okay, how long am I gonna bury the lead for? Like, this is funny, but also, it's fucking Corey in the house. The joke kind of runs itself to the ground after 5 minutes. Is at least anything an option? Ooh, microphone. Because it's a DS game, you gotta have microphone control. Ooh, theming! Eat your fucking heart out, Final Fantasy 4. Oh my god, this is stupid. And back, what happened? Corey in the house happened. That's kinda it. And I realized how awful of a freaking idea that this was, so I'm just gonna... No, away from me. Oh my god. You know, somehow I didn't know what to expect with that, but Cory in the House really is the anime of all time. I'd watch it over Sword Art Online, I guess. But that's not high praise. An A1 game. No, this is quadruple A video gaming here. This is quadruple A. This is what Ubisoft wants. They want all their games to be like Cory in the House. That's what they aspire to be. But anyways, we actually do have something special for this. So aside from just memeing the fuck out on the spot, because frankly it's just funny, there are actually other things. There was something really special that I wanted to do today. And I've been actually waiting all day for this because I just got this in earlier today, and so you guys will cooperate on the first time. Yeah! Damn! That is not right. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, can I fix this, or is this gonna require a BRB? Can I fix this, or does this require a BRB? Yeah, so the device is supposed to be working right now, and you're not cooperating. This is gonna suck if I have to do this. Ah. Give me a moment to fix this. Okay, thank God I fixed it. What game is that screen from? Oh, so that is a custom implementation of the Phantasy Star Universe online connectivity screen that I kind of just took the assets from, ripped it in various manners, and I actually re-implemented it as an OBS scene. So, like, chat window, the animations, all that is basically custom, and I'm just approximating it from, it is custom. I approximated it from the original. That's the kind of shit that I spent a Sunday night doing, is trying to recreate the Phantasy Star Universe loading screen. Anyways, camera's working now. As you can see, my hands are indeed alive. And Rolo needs to stay. Actually, might need to scoot over to a side. Because let's be honest, we didn't come here for fucking Cory in a house. In fact, there are many ways that you could play Cory in a house. Such as a fucking Steam Deck. Right. So the reason why that this is titled that the way it is that my birthday was actually on September the 20th. But, you know, due to various reasons, you know, couldn't really get much on that day. But a couple of days ago, we were actually able, you know, I was actually able to order the Steam Deck OLED. And that's what this is. Oh my god, is that a Gabe Newell egg? Actually, no shit. Doesn't this have an egg bag? I think this thing has an egg bag. So, I may or may not have done the thing that some, you know, individuals might do where you wait impatiently for a product by just watching nothing but videos for the next 2 weeks about the product that you just bought for validation. No one totally does that, right? But anyway, so like I know quite a bit about the deck just in general, and honestly, as a Linux enthusiast myself, or a Linux enjoyer, really, you kind of just know about the Steam Deck through osmosis, because at this point now, Linux and the Steam Deck, for gamers anyways, is kind of become like, at this point now, Linux and the Steam Deck are kind of synonymous with one another, or they're used interchangeably. And honestly, it makes sense. Hello, hands that are not ruined by nail biting. Oof. That's a lot of cardboard. Yeah, I actually kind of appreciate, you know, I don't think a lot of people have pointed this out, but it's like, I do appreciate the, you know, random places that you can play this device on. You know, I appreciate in a test chamber. Haha, Portal jokes. Probably gonna play this on the patio most often. And also, in Tenda. I don't know. So, also, one other thing I had to give props to is that the packaging is very economic. You know, it's just a bit of cardboard and the rest of it's just this packaging. Like, this is the packaging that it's shipped with. So, you know, I kind of appreciate that. And there's no extra packaging for the Steam Deck other than the case in a box. So make sure there's no other incriminating, whatever. I think most people have actually seen the device itself at this point. I'm just really here to give my impressions of the thing, because I haven't had a chance to have a Steam Deck. I've had to wait fucking years to get this, and honestly, it's good. Because I bought the OLED, and now, fucking a week from now, they're gonna announce the fucking Steam Deck 2. Or not the Steam Deck 2, it's probably gonna be some other Valve bullshit, because they clearly don't want to make a handheld, or another handheld, too soon, and honestly, rightfully so. Also, just realized the charger brick also has tape. Now, one thing I'm kind of confused about, they made a new charger specific for the OLED, and seems weird to me why they would continue to also release these, unless they just have a whole lot of just the original unbranded chargers, because really the main difference is that the cable is a little bit longer. You know, see, demonstrate longness. Look at that tangled mess. I actually do have a 45-watt charger, but it's connected right now to my key light, so that's how you're actually able to see this fucking thing. But yeah, I don't know why they, you know, still need to have stock of two of the same kind of charger just with a longer cable, and you put an indentation of an eye. I think this is supposed to look like an eye anyways. I'm not really sure on the sauce of, like, the Steam Deck iconography. I don't know if there's any mythos behind it or whatever, but... that thing dropped on the floor. Also very appropriate to get Zillion music going right now. Given that Zillia Remastered is actually a thing that's coming out. So I at least won something this year. Oh, this thing is... and maybe I'll actually be able to play it on this fucking thing. Oh, that... honestly, to be honest, playing a lot of the console HDR Tales games on the go, because the Switch only ever got Vesperia, for the record. It only got Vesperia and that was it. So it is nice being able to play the other games on that franchise, and that's... There's some security bits. And it's not like I haven't had other ways of playing them. I mean, this has been the handheld that I've been rocking for a while, the Retroid Pocket 4. This is the base unit, so it's the D900 version, it's 4 gigs of RAM, it's not as powerful as the RP4P, and you can't really find any videos about this particular version, but it's like, this one has actually been pretty decent for playing video games. And I do like how it's a small form factor, and I think that's something that the Steam Deck... If I do transition to it for all my portable gaming, I'm gonna kind of miss having something that is pocketable like this. Because I'm a big portable... You know, I've always been a portable gamer most of my life. But... yeah. I do value portability in devices, which is why I still have a freaking... find the right button. So I can break this out. I mean, that's why I still have a Vita. And the Vita is something that I will never forgive Sony for killing. Like, it wasn't just killed, it was murdered. Mid-2000s YouTube reference there, but it's like, this thing's still really good. And honestly, the nice thing about this is the fact that, hey, it actually has an OLED display. The RP4 Pro has the RP4 series, it has an IPS display, which still looks really pretty good. Although there's something fucky about this and how the brightness works. You see how it's like all the way... The brightness here is listed as being like all the way to the left, but it's like you can clearly still kind of see it. So if I actually mess with this... So like, this is that brightness level. A little bit lower, a little bit lower, a little bit lower, a little bit lower. Now it's like almost black. And that's all in just this left area. The rest, it gets a little brighter. Now, the camera's going to blow it out a little bit more. But to the naked eye, it's like this is where the bulk of like the necessary brightness is. And then after this point, the rest of the brightness values are just surplus. That's always been kind of my one of the personal gripes, and also the fact that this thing has a decent enough, a bit of power. Can't really play all PS2 games super well. And also it does have to require messing with power profiles, which is why it has to be in this menu. Because I have to set this for doing PS2 emulation, stuff like that. Did I buy an SD card for this? Of course I did. Oh, I can't freaking see it. There you go. 512 gigs. I'm kind of regretting not getting a 1 terabyte because I anticipate... What I kind of forgot about is that PC game file sizes have been getting fucking stupid lately. I bought Mortal Kombat X recently. That game was like $3. It was less than a ham sandwich. And yet the storage size of Mortal Kombat 10 is fucking 75 gigabytes. 11 is 110. And let's not get started on fucking Helldivers 2. I love Helldivers 2. I actually really like that game quite a lot. That game, I think, is sitting at like 150 something fucking gigabytes right now. So 140 gigabytes for Helldivers 2. That's insane. That's like a third of a 512 gigabyte internal storage, which is what this has. So it is the entry level OLED. It's not the 1 terabyte, but still. So I'm thinking if I'm going to be doing a lot more retro systems, like if I'm going to load my PS3, like some of the PS3 games that I have, they're not super heavy games, but if I'm going to load like the PS3 stuff, Switch, which for the record, I do in fact have a Switch as well. And I in fact even went out of my way to personally dump my games from my own Switch and my own personal library, physical and digital. So it's not piracy. Let's get that straight. But, yeah. I have quite a bit of games, and I don't know if they're all going to fit on the 512 gigabyte SD card, and I don't know if all the games I want are going to fit on the internal storage, so I'm definitely going to probably upgrade the internal storage, and probably also going to change one more thing in this device too, and also I've yapped this long with just the case here, not actually doing the thing. It's a square! Okay, so this is marked on it already. Screen protector. So now I have to do the boring process of applying screen protection. I always do this for all my handhelds. Just want to make sure not to let dust sit. These are all wet wipes, okay. Then dry. Well, yes, I am very much worrying about. Yeah, that's a little right there. Wipe down. Can I get this the first try? Oh my god. I think we do. Come on. Oh, yeah. That's solid. Okay, now I can actually pick it up. Oh. First impressions of holding the thing. So I see I've never really done this before, to be honest, so. Triggers are lighter than I'd expect them to be, but not feather light like they are on here, but it's a pleasant lightness in the triggers. I can kind of appreciate that. Oh, the buttons are perfect. The face buttons anyways. These are really good. So the Retro Pocket 4 also has pretty bouncy buttons, but these have bounce, but they also have a bit of firmness to them. But it's a firm bounce that I appreciate, which means it's great just for slapping on it for, like, if I really want to play an action game. Like, the Devil May Cry 4. You know, upset Chad Daddy a little bit. The trackpads are interesting because it looks like they're stuck in place. Like, I can push down on them, but they don't have a button feedback. Now, the reason why I kind of am, you know, I guess I should have really expected that, but I'm also speaking as someone who actually has an original Steam controller. And I'm used to the Steam controller touchpads having, like, you know, these clickable freaking things. And, you know, the click is in the center, so it's never, like, a super precise thing, but it's like, you know. Oh, you can't hear the you can't hear it in the microphone without me talking over it. But I'm not a fan of this though. Like, the button's nowhere near as good. Like, these are actually good buttons. And yeah, but I can see myself using these. At least this one. I don't know what I'm going to use this one for. And the D-pad. It feels okay. Like, immediately. My preference will always be the D-pads that are used on the Vita and the RP, the Retroid Pockets, since the 3. Since they moved to using the Vita style D-pad pretty much exactly. This is fucking heaven to use. Short of, I don't know, like the Neo Geo Pocket Color. But legitimately great D-pad. This one's fine, but I actually have to, like, use it in a game to really know how it feels. So, And then everything else, bumpy buttons, cool. It's interesting because this thing is kind of massive. At the same time, it doesn't feel as heavy as I thought it would be. Like, it has some heft to it, but it's dense in the same way that a Vita was dense as a device. But because this is like a two-handed kind of thing, you really want to... Oh yeah, I forgot about the rare things. Cool. So, I guess there's that. Looks like this... Oh. Can this power on? Already? The light's on. I guess just let it be. As I clean up all the other shit. Ooh! It woke up in response to... it woke up in response to the alcohol. Look, I just really want to make sure that this thing's clean. Just let it do its startup thing, because every time a Linux system, or just any system really, starts up the first time, it always takes forever. Let's not pretend it doesn't, especially from USB. Although, when it's installed on an SSD like this thing's supposed to be, maybe it shouldn't be that slow. Ooh. We got buttons. Things on the screen. Whew. So looking at it for the first time with stuff actually on the screen and actually seeing it in person. Again, the comparisons to the Vita, it's like it looks great like this. And I know for a fact that this thing only has a 1280 by 800 display. But it doesn't look like 1280 by 800. It looks solid, or it could just be the typography is doing a great job of hiding the low resolution. We are in New York time, so blah. Oop. Gotta do the private thing and not show anything. Ooh. Ooh. This. This does feel like an improvement over how I remember the Steam controller keyboard feeling like. Like when using the Steam controller with the big picture UI, the old big picture UI keyboard. It's kind of like this, but has individual tactile feedback on each side. That's pretty good. But yeah. Blah. Making sure it actually connects. Says it's connecting. It's like a very Switch adjacent UI here. Not saying that, you know, it's not a bad thing. Yeah, tactile feedback, just like the new MacBooks. So, I never touched a new MacBook in my life because I'm just vehemently opposed to whatever Apple does. And I'm not saying that because I don't have any hardware. I do have an iPhone, at least. But I don't like their practices with laptops, and I don't like things that I can't repair or fix. So ironically enough, I'm using an old 2012 MacBook. 2011 MacBook, rather. So it's not quite the same, obviously. So I don't really know what a haptic touchpad feels like, and this first time using it, it actually, it's weird. It kind of feels like the vibrations are just being injected directly into my thumb, not so much like it's vibration throughout the controller. It's a very precise feeling, which is interesting. I also, if I remember correctly, I think all the vibration is done through the areas under the touchpads. I think. So. Don't know why that choice was made, but if it works, it works. Is Linux installed on it? I'm sorry if you're actually new to this, but we are a Linux house. We are a Linux house here, and we will use Linux anyways. If I had an ROG Ally or a ROG Xbox Ally X, sorry, Asus ROG Xbox Ally X. God, that name sucks. You know, maybe it'd be a different story, but I'm not using Windows. No, we are not a Windows-friendly house. I don't mind if you use Windows. If it's working for you, that's good. But as I always say, I really do recommend that people just try Linux at least a little bit. Give it the college try. You might actually enjoy it. Now, which Linux? Look, I already made 2 whole videos about Linux. One from my perspective and another about teaching people about how to use it. At a high level, anyways. And by high level, I mean, you know, a basic overview about Linuxy stuff. So it's like, it's doable. It is doable. You don't need to use a Steam Deck to use Linux. You can just use Linux on a desktop. I should say that on a desktop, that is where Linux actually works best at. Because to get back to the MacBook that I have in my possession now, the 2011 MacBooks in particular, but I think this affects all the MacBooks. They are prickly motherfuckers. So much so that they pretty much require you, if you want to use the dual graphics, that you need to use a BIOS patch or an EFI patch by using Refind. You need to specifically use the refined bootloader on MacBooks to actually have it spoof a macOS version so that it will use the dual graphics. Now, whether that's a good thing or not, you know, especially with that era of MacBooks is a different question, but getting those things to work is honestly it's not as bad otherwise. I actually have an easier experience out of the box with the MacBook than the Microsoft Surface. But, you know, I'm just talking at this point to pad things out. Wait, does the 2012 have the butterfly keyboard? No, that was started in the 2015s, I want to say. Butterfly keyboards, I think, started with the touch bar MacBooks, I think. But I could be wrong. The butterfly may have come out a year before. But no, the 2011, 2012 have the classic scissor keys, and those feel great. But, you know, 2011, 2012 hardware. It is an i7 from the era. It's a Sandy Bridge i7. But it's actually a pretty decent computer doing computery things. It's actually not bad at all. I just had to get a new battery for it, really, and an SSD because it was using a hard drive, and we don't do spinning platters for our main boot drives, if you get what I mean. But you know, you can get a super cheap SATA SSD. Batteries cost a bit, but not too much. And you can actually retrofit that into the MacBooks because the MacBooks of the 2011 and the 2012s were not so locked down that everything was fucking soldered and keyed to each individual motherboard. So, that's good. Butterfly started with the 12-inch MacBook 2015. Okay. Modern web browsers. Yes, surprisingly, modern web browsers are not that bad on it. Like, I use Florp, which is the browser I use on my desktop as well. In fact, I'm using the Flatpak on Florp on that. I'm using Flatpaks whenever possible on my MacBook as sort of an experiment. And you know what? Modern websites, you know, it might get a little bit hot doing it, but it loads it just fine. It loads YouTube pretty fine. It loads anything else just fine. So I hate the modern web as it exists these days, but you know what? It works on that laptop. I'll at least give it that. It is, I don't want to say it's faster than my Surface Pro 4 was, but again, this is a case of working with what I got, and what I got is surprisingly half decent. Yeah, modern browsers are perfectly fine on a 2011, 2012 MacBook Pro. It is not that bad. Now, if you're talking about like 2010, maybe 2009 and earlier, that's when you get to like the should you really be using this on the web kind of thing. Really, what this really is that we need to bring back Web 2.0. Let's bring back the garish fucking sidebars. Let's bring back, what was it, like the browser panels that bring back Internet Explorer. That's all I'm saying. That's a joke. Let's not actually use Internet Explorer. Man, an Apple product for less than $500 is crazy nowadays. Getting anything for less than $500 is crazy nowadays. I hate inflation. Really, that means I hate a lot of other things about our modern world right now, and me living in the Americas doesn't exactly help that, but no, we're bringing back good web design. Web 1.0. Let's go back to early Pizza Hut. Let's have the Pizza Hut website just be a couple of input boxes and a phone number input. There you go. Let's go back to 1998. 98 web design. This has been on this logo for a while, by the way. Oh, now, okay, you're just saying that to shut me up. Nice. ya. Let's go back to when that MMORPGs advertised ordering pizza in the game. Welcome to Steam Deck. Before you start playing, let's take a quick tour. So funny enough, I think this actually showed up in the big picture mode update on desktop, where it will actually kind of walk you through the Dex tutorial, or at least I think it may have done that in the betas or some shit. So, you know, quick access button, blah, sleep, which is actually apparently has a decent sleep implementation, volume, cool. And then the SD card, actually that's the first thing I need to do is actually format the SD card. And I also want to check something. I want to see exactly how it formats the SD card. Because one of the things that I criticized about Linux file systems is I don't know why so many people are fucking, like, obsessed with not having case-sensitive file systems. But Stora. There you go. Sir! I don't know how long this is gonna take. Internet Explorer. That's just Firefox and Safari nowadays. That's not Internet Explorer, that's Edge. That's Edge. That's Edge. Can't even get your nerd facts straight. Are you a real nerd? Are you a real nerd? Web's stupid. My point of optimized website still stands. Anything about file systems is just nerd conflict, like distro wars. I don't know why. Because file systems are like the most boring part. Because it's like, I don't think anyone wants to realistically actually give a shit about their storage, where their storage is. What matters is if it works. And if Skyrim will blow up if you decide to have two folders called assets, but one has a capital S in it. Which that legitimately happened to me one time when I was messing around with Skyrim mods using the Nexus mod manager. And it was using the default file system, which was case insensitive. Or, no, case sensitive. That was case sensitive. Right. Case insensitive is... Right. It was using the default case-sensitive file system. So what ended up happening is at some point, one of the mods had like a models folder, but it was a models folder with like a capital M, not the default models folder where it's a lowercase m. So when I boot up Skyrim, all of a sudden, all of the models had mixing textures, and then the game blows up after that. So it's like, that is why I have such a thing about file systems. Working like Windows does effectively, because honestly, it is a reality as we start accepting more Windows games as being compatible with the system. It would be a good thing to make it as painless as possible. Anyways, I'm gonna eject this real quick when it actually. Although I do appreciate that this is pretty drop in. All things considered, that's nice. I'm gonna stick this in my PC a little bit. I'm gonna pray that I don't knock a cable over and ruin the thing. And I'm just gonna do one thing. This has a Steam Apps folder. Let's do a capital S Steam Apps. No, it is case sensitive. Okay, yeah. That's fun. So you can fix that. that is something that can be fixed. It requires some stupid arcane command line wizardry. I don't remember the command off the top of my head, so it may as well be Greek to me, so... Fuck. But it's a good thing because I don't plan to actually keep my PC games on the SD card, so... That's not going to affect me too much, but that is a concern. I wish, though, that it would actually be case insensitive, because if we decide to do mods on the deck, that's going to be important. This thing's kind of getting a little bit toasty on the back, a little bit more than I would have expected it to, but probably maybe it was just all the updates that it was running. It probably has to do a lot of background jobs on the first boot or some shit. So maybe that's all it is. Alright, game recording is actually a thing. At least this thing's pretty smooth. I appreciate that. Oh, the really stupid movies stuff. I mean, let's be honest, I don't give a shit about the original startup. I'm gonna use the real boy. I'm not gonna say grew up, but when I first started PC gaming, I was right around the time that Big Picture became a thing. So I'm very much used to the old layout. I wonder if that actually works, Game Rumble. I'm assuming it should. But, D-pad's a little mushy. I'm not gonna lie, using it... Yeah. It's a little mushy. Not the biggest fan. But this thing does get pretty bright. Now it's hard to tell because the screen is currently kind of dark themed. Oh no. Ah! Yeah, the Vita can kind of get that bright. I think the Vita might actually still win in brightness, but it is also a smaller screen, keep in mind. So could be up to interpretation. And again, this isn't the brightest screen to be showing that on, so that's going to be an interesting thing. Yeah, I thought I was doing updates and it already has another update. What the fuck? Yeah, there's a lot of other stuff. I'll probably mess with a lot of this off camera because I don't want people judging my bullshit. You know what? It looks like it's working just fine now. Oh, I forgot I installed I had Rogue City. Fuck. And Dynasty Warriors. It took so goddamn long for this game to not be $60, by the way, which is fucking ridiculous. I know for a fact that this game should work fine. So, just do that. Okay, I hate the fact that it brings up I have a 411 games on this fucking thing. Or on my Steam account. That's ridiculous. And maybe that's why they want people to buy Steam Decks. And also, it just starts with fucking... I mean, I appreciate the favoritism, but also... No. Wait, why does it say that's my current game? That's scary. But I really should do, though, after this is... But then I have to wait for the download to finish. You know what? Pause. That power. Switch to desktop. And now this will show for a fact that this is running the goated desktop environment on all of Linux. KDE. I appreciate it. I'm not biased whatsoever in that thinking. I just use it normally. Ooh. Oh, God. The mouse is like a little bit oversensitive. Okay. Plasma. I don't think this is Plasma 6, is it? Oh, this still uses the old style of the Steam controller scrolling. That works on the Steam controller, the circular way, because it makes sense in this context because, hey, it's a circle. You roll it around like it's a freaking dial. But when it's a square, it doesn't make as much sense. Oh yeah, it is Plasma 6. Nice. Anyway, so obviously, I have the things that you need, or that I want. Sure. Although this could break things. I think I've heard something about Decky being a little bit funky with the newer versions. I don't know if that was fixed recently. We'll see. Because this is the experience of being modestly advanced usage with SteamOS. So, may as well. Doesn't close automatically, that's weird. Okay. Safe to say I changed mine's desktop control map. Honestly, I probably will have to tweak that a little myself, but also, I don't necessarily want to be using desktop mode that much. So, yeah, that's something I'll mess with again off camera. But it is interesting to note that, yeah, like, the mouse sensitivity is a little bit funky, and it's also using the trackball mode by default. That is a Steam controller default, I remember that, but... Again, the one thing that just fucks me over. The rotation is still circular. On a square. That's gonna fuck me over so hard. But I do like the feel of it. At least, there is that. The screen really is popping. This button doesn't do anything. This button just summons Steam. Okay. I appreciate it, but I don't think I'm gonna do that. Also, you say remember, like that's an obvious thing to me. It's like, no, it's... I'll do it my own way. Fuck it. Gotta do custom mode. What? I just pressed custom and it just said, oops. What is this fucking... Oh, maybe it's because it's trying to pull for the SD card and it's... That must be it. I think. For some reason. It's like it tried to access the SD card and it's not finding it. Huh. That's weird. It is problematic, but... I guess... I don't know why, because it's mounted on the file system. It should be fine. And why did I do that? I have to launch it again just to make sure. I don't care about Flatpaks. Again, figure this stuff out myself. I appreciate the help, but I am a stubborn asshole. You'll quickly learn that about me. I am a very stubborn asshole. But, you know, whatever. I'm just curious why it's saying... Because I actually do want to... That's the point, is I'm trying to use the SD card for my primary ROM storage. I know I can just use custom directory, but I'm curious why the installer is not detecting the SD card. Or pretending that it's not there for some reason. The sad part is this experience is still faster than my MacBook. Ugh. At least now it's not blowing. Was it like overblown in the camera feed doing that? Okay, not quite. I really should be more cognizant of the camera up above, because this is the first time working with an overhead cam like this and doing this nonsense. And now for some reason it's taking forever to download this. Sure. Forced Firefox shortcut. What forced Firefox shortcut? Oh. Wait, is it not installed by default? Is this left click? Okay, that is a right click. Okay, what's it pointing to? Oh. XCG open app stream. org.mozilla.firefox. The fuck? Not immediately familiar with what that path correlates to. I'm assuming that's Flatpak? Oh, the one. Oh, what? No, I'm noticing it now. The camera, that my face cam is, it's getting slow, and I have no idea why. Oh, and now I say something in it. Like I said, streaming problems. Okay, now it detects the SD card just fine. Okay, sure. Yes, this is in fact a Steam Deck. Couldn't you figure this out from, like, hostname or something? I mean, I guess it probably depends if the user changes it. I guess there's not an immediate way to identify a Steam Deck by the OS, so... I will just use the lowest integration by default and then just stick to... I don't know what these themes are, and I'm assuming it's going to try and download them. I'm not gonna... What is this? Oh, okay. I said I'm not going to wait, and then I end up waiting instead anyways. Not gonna lie, I do kind of like the simplicity of a standard list. I don't really do launchers. I really do not do launchers. I don't like Emulation Station as a thing. I like a generic list. I am used to just launching RetroArch and then just loading games from the basic menu there. I don't really care about lists. About, like, themes. About this, like, box art stuff and scraped game data. And the analog OS seems like the closest thing. Oh, mini UI. I mean, I guess that's kind of close to what I'm looking for. That's just a basic list. Actually, just a couple of them that are more list-like. Okay. Well, again, that's something I will work out later. Okay, so be careful, guys. If you advertise DuckStation and Stenzek gets mad, he's gonna remove Linux support, guys. Yes, stand alone. Thank you. Wait, what does that say? DuckStation has better performance. Work has... Okay. To be fair, DuckStation Desktop does actually have auto save states, because it uses the GUI from the PCSX2 emulator, and that also has an auto save state option, or an exit save state option. So... I definitely know I'm going to be very interested in these two in XMU and Xenia. That's going to be interesting for me. RPCS3 is going to be neat. The rest of this basically fits. It has Ryujinx, but no Yuzu fork. I'm assuming maybe because it's legally problematic. But yeah. Now I'm also interested how they're actually doing Model 2 integration here. I wonder if that's actually like a Proton prefix that they're setting up, or if it's some other like custom wrapper situation. You know what? Sure. Use your own prefix. Yeah. I don't care about autosave. I don't care about retro achievements. I do not care about bezels. And the good thing is about the OLED, because it is OLED, black pixels will remain black. So I don't need the bezels to hide it, because it'll just mesh with, and also I just don't care about the bezels to begin with. But again, that's a personal choice kind of thing. It opens Firefox and Discover. Okay, that's all it does. Oh, right, because AppStream is a thing that communicates with Discover / maybe Flatpak, I think. But Discover's default is FlatHub. You see, I kind of forgot about that. Oh, game's finished, I guess. I am a heathen, and I like the console native resolution, not the TV native resolution. Although with SNES, I could take it or leave it either way. Hacks, I can deal with that at my own time. GameCube, I can deal with that at my own time. I'm on and off about LCD shaders, but this is something I'm very picky about. I don't do CRT shaders, though. I definitely don't do it for 3D games. It has to be position match. I don't understand people who want it to match the button label when it can literally mean anything. Cool. So I guess let that do its thing while I... Am I even really going to be using the browser on this that much? But I guess I can just take a look-see and... Maybe it's not the best idea because it's probably installing... I don't know if it's installing these through Flatpak or not. It might, but... Still. Is the screen supposed to be flickering for this? It's not showing up in the camera, but to the naked eye, this scene's kind of flickering a little. As far as I can tell, it's not the screen. Like, if I stick another window in front of it, it's not flashing there. So I think it's just this screen is the one being weird. If it installed into DistroBox, I would set fire to this immediately and start over. I really don't want to deal with containers. Please. I know Flatpak is technically a container, but I don't want to have to deal with managing 2 little installs of a different desktop. I don't care about DistroBox. Also, you're a dork. You're very much a dorky dork. What I probably should have done is transferred this over to the desktop. And granted, I don't think it's actually using the... Is it? It hasn't stored anything on the flash drive, so I think it's fine to just... KIO, you can go to hell. For... God damn it. Fine. There's at least a couple of things that could... let me... Oh, it's probably also putting them on the SD card, so I can't do that either. Right. Because of that. Okay, I guess I'm just stuck waiting then. Great. Yay. I mean, I guess I can poke around everywhere else just to see what the fuck's on here. Oh, Thunderbolt supports here, at least by default. Please tell me this has application permission. Oh, thank God. Because on Arch, Plasma does have a flat seal. This is the flat seal thing. This is what manages your Flatpak permissions, because you need that if you want them to access anything except the bare basic directory that's assigned to each Flatpak. On Arch, this does not come with Plasma by default. It's a separate KCM that you have to download. So, I am glad that it's here. Yeah, you have to make sure that they have system files set to read-write, so it can access anything else. What did it just do? It's installing, Amy. It's installing, I think, the thing to the Steam library. I'm assuming that's what it just did. Okay, they're all at least set with semi-sensible perms. Cool. I appreciate that. Did I ever experience green Steam? The fuck is that? I don't know what that is. Also, DistroBox is a shitty joke. But that's to their own preferences. I mean, you're a dork. You would obviously enjoy that kind of thing a little more than I would. Says developer. Not a developer, but... Well, I do develop now. But not big things. Just my own personal stuff. But the point is, I just don't care about DistroBox and containers and stuff like that. It's taken me a while even to actually not hate Flatpaks. And even then, it's not like I like everything about it. What is DistroBox exactly? I don't think I've heard of it, but containers makes me think it's something like Docker. Actually, it technically uses Docker and or Podman in the background. And it basically installs a minified distro that runs from... It basically just glues together your host system and a container to make it feel like native. But it is effectively a container. In fact, it is literally a container because it uses container backends. So... I will copy my games manually. Oh, but I can't actually do this now because I have to frickin'... Okay, so it puts everything in the ROMs folder. So, like, Mister, I guess. And use ESDE. I at least am familiar enough with the launchers. I don't like them personally, but still. And now this is the MU Deck settings thing. Cool. And I think that's what this launches. And it looks like it. Cool. Yay. Now I can actually take this out. Holy shit, this is hot. USB drive kind of gets toasty, but this is hotter than... Probably because it's the most use it's gotten, I guess. I will put something stupid on here. I just want to see for funsies how out of the box this will work. Because this is stupid. I'll have her. Okay. I'll just make do with that. Skip. And then grab the app image from here. USB isn't getting hot. Gotta love it. The little Easter egg in colors and themes. Well, now I guess I have to know. What is that? Oh, you mean the old Steam launcher where it had the fucking awful, pea suit, what's the fucking phrase? Dank pouch references, please come to me. You usually do, but now you're not right now. The Green Steam era, meaning when the UI was a lot boxier and it had fucking mushy peas green as its default, as its fucking, So is that on here? No. They did. Fuck it. Okay. I see what they did. I see. I only know this because Half-Life uses this as its default UI in the game. It's still used. I just haven't lived with the Steam UI looking like this. But Half-Life and Gold Source 1, or Gold Source, because Gold Source, then Source, and Source 2, whatever. Gold Source games use this UI all the fucking time, so I am familiar with it. I'm just not familiar with Steam using this interface. This is dumb, but I kind of like it. Pooh brown. It's got poo brown, but it's mostly mushy peas green. The panel is meant to be... Oh, it didn't apply the theme to the... That's part of Plasma style, if I remember correctly. That's a separate... Where is it? Plasma, you and your infinite settings menus. I appreciate it, but also not really. Yeah, no, the Plasma style's there, so it's supposed to make this green, too. Maybe on a reboot. It happens. As the words of the day before dev said, shit happens. And now my desktop is not letting me remove this. Thank you. Please let me remove my SD card. This is going to be totally unexpected. Or maybe expected for people who know me. Although it's not like I've really talked about this much. Going to copy this folder. Into here. Actually, I should have just copied it to the SD card, but whatever. You're just doing this for scientific testing. I just want to see if this works out of just pure curiosity, because that would be funny. Should have done. So that. Ooh! Yeah, Wii gaming with a completely not appropriate controller layout. Of course, the first thing I have to start is a goddamn Sega Lindbergh title. But the controls aren't mapped to this. No, they are. It's set to the controllers, I guess. I am very glad that this works out of the box. Yay. I would not recommend, by any means, playing a light gun game on... Because actually you can't even play it. Oh, wait. Right. Because it's mapped to mouse by default. That's why. But, hey, you can play Lindbergh arcade titles just by doing that. Gotta say, you're lucky you tried the Steam Deck now. When I got mine, desktop controls remapping was old big picture. Actually, if I remember correctly, desktop mode mapper was the Bigfoot UI for a really long time. I don't remember it actually getting unified to the gamepad UI stuff until I want to say earlier this year. But I do remember as late as like 2024, if I went into the controls section in the Steam desktop client, and if I go to the control section there, it boots up in old big picture mode UI, and it was like, oh, this is scary. So yeah. So that's fun. And then exit big picture mode. Just as simple as that. Oh no. Ah! Who the fuck uses free BSD? What are you, a PlayStation 3? What are you, a Sony pony? Are you a PlayStation 3 pleb? Oh wait, that's Chad Daddy. Can we occasionally ask you for feedback? Your input would... No. Not the person to ask for feedback in general. Now this is going to be mildly interesting because... So Zestiria in particular is a game that I have a fucking bone to pick with because of the fact that of the official PC port releases, this one only runs a 30 FPS maximum at its default, and it also doesn't do any texture filtering, like distance filtering. It doesn't do that by default at all. I actually have to use the fixes hack for this game specifically to make it play like any other fucking Tales game in the franchise. Except Tales of Symphonia Remastered, I guess, so maybe it's on brand for that. And I don't know how long this is going to take it to first boot. It has to set up the Proton prefix. I know that for sure. It should at least show the banner. There it is. That looks jank. I'm sorry. I know that's expected with how GameScope functions, but that's funny. Oh, this is stretched. Which is accurate to this game, but again, I don't know why I like this game as much as I do. What is it set to? Yeah, it is actually native res. Congratulations. Now, of course, the camera isn't going to capture this because it's capturing at 30 FPS. But... man, I guess I can access this and get, like, stats and shit. Performance overlay. This gives us Mango HUD. Yay. So there you go. You got your Krispy Kreme 30 FPS. Oh, and okay, this game also does a really stupid thing. The controls default to the keyboard when you first start on any system. You have to manually change it to... Again, this is the problem with this game. That's just how it is. Also, they map this weirdly relative to every other game in the franchise. But I'm used to it. But hey, it's technically the full frame rate that this game gets, and it's not using that much resources. So that's pretty good. Again, I need to be cognizant of the fucking shit. Yep, let's remove. Shit. There you go. That's stupid. This game's stupid in general. But hey, it's a game that released in 2015. So this is the class of game that I would actually want to play on the system, and it's playing it at full frame rate for this specific game. Like hell, I can remember what the weaknesses are. And yeah, this UI is stretched in this case, but again, this is something inherent to this game. This game does not handle aspect ratios very gracefully. These are things that you would need the game-specific fixes for this. And I'm going to be very interested to see how that works, because on desktop, Tales of Zestiria Fixes has very interesting behavior. But I also noticed that you can just go back to home while it's playing the game. So sure, that's neat. And then, you know, the other party trick, being able to put this thing to sleep. And it just does it. Takes like 3 seconds from pressing power to actually getting back into it. Not quite as quick as this, where it's less than a second. But that's still good for a literal PC. So, I appreciate it. You can install it, add a shortcut to... Oh, no! Why do you default to Chrome? Why? Why? Why is it Chrome by default? No! Go fuck yourself! God, who the fuck does that? Cool. I can watch some. Yeah, this is emulator stuff, and then this game's still running in the background. I will say, the analog sticks feel good. It looks like they have some. I don't know exactly what it is. It might be the texture on the stick itself that's doing it. But this does not have at least any signs early on of like friction around the stick ring here. Which, to be fair, the Steam controller also doesn't have much friction when doing that, so. Gaming mode, install Chrome. Meanwhile, desktop mode, install Firefox. I don't like Chrome. I just don't like Chrome. Especially because it's Google Chrome, not even Chromium. Like, you usually expect that, oh, you want to use the Chromium web engine. Okay, we'll give you Chromium, ungoogled Chromium, maybe Brave if we're feeling goofy. No, here it's Google Chrome. It's so dumb. But hey, that's the browser that people know about these days, I guess. That makes me sad. But hey, that's quick to do. I really appreciate that. That is neat. Like, this thing is just neat. This thing is so neat so far. And when I was playing Destiny there, it's like, I also, again, do not notice the resolution. Like, I noticed the stretching, but again, that's a game-specific problem, blah, 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 blah. But it looks really good. Not just the OLED popping, but I don't notice the pixels that much, at least on, you know, when you're playing it from, like, what, like, 2 electric guitars away from my face? I don't notice. This is a comfortable distance, and I don't notice the pixels. Again, just like the Vita. I'm going to be saying that a lot. That is so cool. I forgot I had Alan Wake 1 on here. There's just a lot of things I kind of forgot about, honestly. Timely. And the support notice for Windows... Oh, you can't fucking see it because... Where is it? Where is brightness? There you go. Oh, it's at max again. And the support notice for Windows 10. Although that's another thing, when I got the deck, if you dismissed the Chrome prompt, the only way you could get the option to install Chrome again was resetting the device. Something tells me that this thing launched in an early, possibly unfinished state, and they didn't exactly anticipate people would want to do those things again. Something tells me that they didn't foresee the shit that users might actually want. And they had to add that stuff in later. I understand. That's also funny. It's very funny. Oh. Oh, yeah, the fucking store menu stuff. Oh my god, Death Crimson soundtracks. Are you fucking serious? This is just a reminder I have way too many of these fucking games. The fact that I still have Ghosts on here is... I hate the fact that I remember buying this game for literally $1. And I still feel like I was robbed. Ghosts ain't great. Speaking of... I know DMC4, of all fucking games, at least SE, is a fucking 25 gigabyte game. Jesus Christ. But X-Zodiac's fucking rad. And that's like 315 megs. So, I like that. I didn't even remember having F1 on. I don't even remember owning F1. That's silly. Ah! Okay, fine, let's install Hannah Montana Linux. No, the obvious fucking solution is Corey in the House Linux. Please tell me that's a thing. Because no one made it a thing. Corey in the House Linux needs to be a thing. I feel like the one person that didn't mind Ghosts. I kind of shitpost a little bit. Ghosts at least gave us a new dog model. So there is that. Ghosts is very important to the COD franchise just for giving us a new dog model. I mean, it plays half decent. No, I won't even say that because when I remember on Windows when I was playing Ghosts, I didn't run into this when I was using Proton. But I remember playing Ghost for the first time, and every time I would try to set that game to the high settings because I was using like Ryzen 5. I was still using my Ryzen CPU, and I had like a 1060, so it's like the game is, my specs were way above the games like it was a game from 2013. I'm using parts from 2017, and Ghosts would always insist on resetting its graphics back to the lowest setting. Every single time. And yeah, I was like, yeah, this game's kind of ass. At least the PC port is ass. Poor Total Biscuit. He definitely would know more about that if he was still with us, but lol. Hey, there's so many good games that aren't fucking 20 goddamn gigabytes. Although Half-Life... Has Half-Life 2 always been 8 gigs and above? Oh, well. And I also feel like I'm obligated to install Valve games on a Valve device, so... Fuck it. Not Half-Life Source, though. Yeah, stay away from that. MCC, I remember, is also pretty big. Ooh, that menu. That was weird. That's choppier than I expect it to be. Or it's weird. Oh yeah, this isn't even with... It only installs Reach by default. Okay. It only installs Reach by default. Sure. And the sad part is I mostly play CE. I guess 2. Gotta keep Reach on as well. God, the multiplayer packs are fucking huge. Actually, why is there 2 separate settings for Halo Reach and Halo Reach Content Pack 2? That doesn't go to anything. Good. Good to know. And yeah, I'm not doing that now. I really am just showing the entirety of my goddamn Steam library at this point. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I have to get to install some games, because this thing definitely doesn't have enough space for everything. And I have to get the emulation stuff set up. At least I know Lindbergh Loader works out of the box, so I can get that set up in my own time. That requires messing with some text files. But yeah, I am super impressed with this so far. Yeah, this is gonna be the thing that's gonna take up my attention for the rest of the week. I can already tell. So I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just putzing around with it like an autistic freak. So hey, OG Gens. It's the only one I own. I don't own I don't own Shadow Gens. I would like to at some point, but that is not one of the games I bought during the autumn sale. Maybe for winter sale, but that's also assuming I actually get paid. Oh, it is in fact doing pre-caching. Is that a necessity for the deck to use? Because I didn't notice that in this specific device. I don't think it actually shows an option to disable. Don't show that. I think it's in downloads, isn't it? No, it's not. I'm trying to look for... Oh. No. I'm trying to look for the option for... disabling the shader cache just to see if it still exists. But from what I'm looking at, it doesn't look like it's here. Which is interesting. Yeah, chat stuff. Accessibility. Screen reader functionality. That's a surprise. The customization stuff, keyboard stuff, controller stuff, Bluetooth stuff, audio stuff, stuff. there's crash reports. You can customize that. Get the serial numbers, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, no, they just don't have the setting for disabling the shader cache at all on the deck. Not sure how to feel about that. Like, I'm sure it's probably necessary for smooth performance. But for my desktop, I've also noticed that it takes up a lot of fucking space to keep those shaders. Because shaders also not only consist of shaders, they also consist of converted video files. So that Proton can slide them in to incompatible games. But let's be honest, I'm probably also just going to use Proton GE on this anyways and just bypass that need. So it's probably in desktop. Yeah, it'll be in that. I know where that's at in the desktop client settings, but they just hit it on the game mode. Which again, I'm not necessarily advocating that should be disabled. I'm just saying it's an interesting choice. But that's also, again, because I'm autistic enough to notice shit like that. Yeah, given desktop, it's literally just the desktop client. It's the normal one. It would make sense that game... I feel like I remember this being the case where the gamepad UI actually lacked some customization features for the Steam controller and other controllers. And I had to go to the Bigfoot UI version to actually access some of those features. So it's like, again, it's not unprecedented that the gamepad UI mode, the current big picture stuff, is probably missing some settings, either because they forgot or didn't find a need for it. But again, it's an observation, not... I'm not really that much of a fan of Half-Life 2, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know, kind of ambivalent. It's like 9:36. Okay, so it's like at this point I've been streaming now for like 2.5 hours. I don't actually remember if that's a personal record. Not a personal record by any means. Okay, I just like to ramble a lot. But yeah, this thing is interesting, and I'm definitely gonna have a lot of words to say about this in 2028 when I finally make this video right as the Steam Deck 2 arrives. I'm sure that's probably what's gonna happen. But this is definitely video material for absolute sure, because I can think of a dozen topics I could talk about with the focus of this device in particular. And I'm not gonna lie, at least one of those is gonna be talking about light gun games or arcade titles. Almost certainly I'm gonna be throwing fucking Technoparrot on this thing so that I can actually, like, try out all the, you know, the dubiously acquired dumps that I may have some possession of. I don't know. It's shit. It's shit. What else you want me to talk about? It's shit. But yeah, so I'm definitely gonna be playing around with this more in my spare time. But this has been a very interesting experience, and also it's been nice to... This is... where is it? There you go. A little bit less ominous. But yeah, so for now, I think I'm probably just going to leave this at that, because there's not really a whole lot I can do other than downloading stuff and figuring things out. And, you know, some people are probably going to armchair guide me through the stuff. I appreciate it, but also I just appreciate people being here. It has been a while since I've done this again, and it has also been a while since I've really uploaded anything conventional. Again, I get that. So I do hope that I'm going to be able to actually get back to because I really do enjoy making videos. I really do enjoy the process, and I want to get back to doing that and talking about the stuff I care about. So, I hope I get to do that at some point. Sooner rather than later. I do have a script pretty much almost done at this point. I'll be getting to filming, hopefully within like the next week or so. And we'll see how long it takes to do the edits. But I think for now, this has been a somewhat productive stream, dubious merit. I now know what Cory in a house is like a little bit more. But yeah. So thank you to everyone for joining, and with that, I still completely suck at sign out, so I'm just gonna have to leave it at that. So, yeah, take care, toots, and all that shit.